podcast, otherwise known as the Pridecast. Today we have...
Hi, I'm Jen.
Hi, I am Alex, go by I am Kurla.
Hi, I am Amber. I also go by Oreo.
And as always, well, I guess 2 times now, Zoey, your host, me.
I like your. I'm your
That was
host,
a great
Zoe.
intro.
Me.
That was
Me.
beautiful.
You're Mariel.
Well, I get a lot of my host inspiration from Muriel. I love Muriel so much. She's so great.
Joy and a delight.
I am so glad that actually she talked about me on the Always Open podcast once,
Yeah.
which was like it just when she talked about me, I was like, oh my god, I'm being talked about on a thing. But it was she was in Chicago and to see Hamilton. And I was walking around. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me. So she was walking around Chicago, and I just happened to be like walking around with a friend of mine. We sometimes we just go on walks to kind of like clear our heads, and so we were walking around. And what happened was we passed by an intersection really close to the Hamilton thing because I don't live very far from it. And I was like, "Was that Muriel? That looked like Muriel." And so I like pulled up Twitter within like half a second, and she's like on one of the things that I get notifications for from her tweets, and I'm like, she's in fucking Chicago right now. I think that was Muriel. And so I just like pulled my friend who doesn't know what Rooster Teeth is at all, just pulled my friend and I just dragged her back, and I was like, "You're Muriel." Hi, I saw your tweet. and at first, like, it sounded a lot more creepy, but it's just like, it just happened that we came across each other.
Yeah.
And I
Because
was
like you live there. It's not like you went hunting for her.
yeah, exactly.
It was a coincidence, though. It's fine.
Yeah. But I saw her again after RTX last year, and she's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Yeah, McGarty, how's it going?"
I'm just gonna follow you across the country. It's fine.
I want
Yeah.
to be a guardian next year.
It's a lot of fun. I would
Yeah,
I
very
highly
that
recommend
is.
it.
Yeah.
A+, 10 out of 10 experience. Will fly to a different country to do.
Man, if I had the money to fly to a different country to do it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Same.
Yeah.
That'd
I got really lucky with round trip flights being really cheap. So it was like
Gotcha.
$400 round trip to London. So.
Oh, to London? Jeez.
Oh man, RTX London is the bomb.
Because I bought my tickets not even a month ago for RTX this year, and it was only like $200 round trip. But for
Where
my
do you live?
boyfriend, who I'm meeting at RTX, he lives in Michigan. His plane tickets were like $500, and I was like, why are his more expensive than mine? Like,
Where do you live?
I live in Minnesota, so I'd be flying out of
Hey,
Minneapolis.
I'm from Minnesota originally.
Hey,
I currently live in Austin, but I
Oh,
have
yeah.
spent my entire life in Minnesota until like 7 months ago. I'm from Chanhassen,
Ah,
home of
I don't
Prince.
know if I
Small
feel
world.
comfortable saying my city because it's pretty small.
That's fine.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
Here- I mean, Chanhassen's very small, but I don't live there anymore either, so
Yeah,
I don't
that's
really
true.
care. I lived in Minneapolis for the last like 3.5 years, though.
I want to move to Minneapolis. I love big towns.
It's loud. There are lots of sirens.
I
That's
know.
I also
why-
lived right by the exit onto 35, so.
I spent like a night there before, and I remember it's like not able to sleep because of the noise.
I mean, to be fair, I moved from Minneapolis to Austin,
That's,
so.
yeah.
Although it's quieter here, but I don't live downtown here, so it's fine.
I live like downtown Chicago. Like it's within walking distance for me to go to like, is it the Sears Tower or the Willis Tower now? Sears Tower, whichever it is now. I could walk there in like 10 minutes, and it's like,
That's cool.
Well,
yeah, but it's
well, I'm
also
definitely-
hectic. Oh, sorry, it's also just very hectic, is what I was saying.
Well, okay, I was gonna say I'm definitely the farthest. I'm Canadian, so from Canada, so I'm definitely the farthest.
Yeah.
But also Canada is the best.
I've been to Toronto once, and I loved it.
I
Nice.
drove through Canada.
I love
once.
Toronto.
Nice.
man.
Like,
I was going to Niagara Falls, and it was faster than going through Michigan. So
True.
Yeah.
True.
Toronto is one of my. I went to Toronto for Fan Expo.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I went to Toronto because when I was living with my boyfriend, him and his stepbrother were going for like a Magic Gathering thing, and I just
Cool.
tagged along because they're like my best friends. I wanted to spend more time with them, so it's like might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I guess we have a couple topics that we wanted to go over. Since this week is E3, and one of the biggest week in gaming, basically. So we wanted to go over some of the games. So what games are you guys super excited about?
Super
I
Smash.
will repeat it again, but I'm super excited for Pokemon, even though it wasn't announced at E3. It's close enough, so I'll count it. Pokemon.
Definitely my top would be number one would be Spider-Man. The Spider-Man PS4. God, I'm such a huge Spider-Man fan. So it's like I'm just super uber excited for that one. I'm like that's like the one game I know 100%. I'm pre-ordering, playing midnight release, everything, the whole ball of wax. So 100% is Spider-Man.
I get that. It looks really great.
Mm-hmm.
God. There's so many games I'm excited for, but like my top like 3 is like in no order is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like that has been my favorite game series for a while.
Yeah, looks good.
The new
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros. And Fallout 76.
You basically just named every single one I'm like super excited for.
Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey looks great. Also super buff Greek woman that's like looks like she's a fucking badass. I'm like, yes please.
Yeah.
Also it looks like it wasn't actually that hard to make female animations like Ubisoft said in for Unity, I believe.
Yeah, it was Unity.
Yeah. So it looks like it wasn't actually that hard.
Oh.
Just wanted to point that out. But yeah, I definitely get you there. That's Odyssey looks fucking amazing.
Another game that I think looks really cool is Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
That one looks choice.
It really does. It's amazing looking. Whew.
There's so many games to be excited about.
Oh my god, yeah. Like,
God.
Gaming Christmas.
Yeah.
Really, and
It's
then it's
really more like gaming Black Friday. Spend a bunch of money and then wait.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was even looking just through the releases, especially for October. It's like, my wall is just dead.
It's this October, and then next February.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like what the hell?
Yeah, because I know for me, particularly for February, I know the next Metro game is going to be
That Metro game, man.
Mhm,
Oh
yeah,
my
'cause
god.
Actually, because funny because I was replaying not too while ago because I'm replaying the last two, so I'm replaying those. So
It looks so good. I'm very excited for that too. I'm very much about post-apocalyptic. I'm also a massive fan of Fallout, and I'm just super excited for Fallout 76.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited for it, but I am a bit skeptical. But again, that's just me being like a huge Fallout fan. So it's like I'm a little skeptical, but I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna do with a multiplayer version of Fallout. So
100%. I get you.
Mhm.
I am also super excited for that. I am skeptical, but I'm also excited because I want to see how Bethesda experiments.
Yeah, sure.
Because they had been completely following the same, it felt like the same formula for their games for a long time. And so I'm glad they're doing this. What I don't like is all of the people that are just super hating on it. It's like, if you don't like it, then it may just not be your game. And that can be, people need to be okay with that sometimes.
Yeah, there's a difference between not liking a game and a game being bad.
Yeah, exactly. Because
like,
it's like...
Go
you
ahead.
go.
Okay. I don't like shooting games. I'm not good at them. I don't like them. It's just not my style of gameplay. But they can still be really good, really well-made games with great stories. It's just not the style of play I like.
Exactly.
So, I tried to play Left 4 Dead, which everyone loves. It was Left 4 Dead 2. And I just couldn't get into it. I didn't care. But people love that game, so who knows?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I'm not really picky with games, but like my other friends, they absolutely hate Overwatch. But like I know a lot of people, including me, who love that game.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I get you. There's, but then like for Fallout specifically, people were like, "Oh, like there was a entire petition to make like an entire single player campaign and stuff for it." It's just like, guys, you know, they're experimenting. I don't want just another cookie cutter Fallout game.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm glad they want to change the formula and make it interesting because, and from every interview I've seen so far, every single time Todd Howard says like a new sentence, he like alleviates a bunch of people's worries. Like, we know we're going to be getting private servers at some point so that you're not going to be nuked, or you can choose to not be out there where you could get nuked by other people. You literally don't lose anything when you die. You can take structure, you can like make blueprints of the structures you make, so if it is destroyed, you can just make it again immediately. Stuff like that. So it's like, it's not at all as bad as people think it is.
Yeah. And I think even one of those interviews too, he even mentioned like, or like someone, I don't know which exactly mentioned, but even, it's not traditional. There is still sort of a campaign. There's still quests and stuff like that. Like you get it from the robots and like environmental storytelling, which is what Bethesda does best, anyways. So, So I think that like campaign and the campaign wise, story wise, it's still in good hands.
Oh, 100%. I agree. I am glad to see that they're going with that, and they even said like, yeah, there are side quests. You'll still find things like the holotapes and notes and stuff for these quests. So it's not like it's just an empty world that you can go explore in. It's actually like there are pointed quest missions that are going to be given to you one way or another, and I'm like, okay, that's what everybody was worried about, but it seems like it's fine.
Yeah, although the one thing that is interesting though is that there actually is no NPCs in the game. Only the NPCs are the robots.
Yeah, apparently there are going to still be some manner of way to get quests from people. So, like, the Overseer is going to be the main quest giver, but there are also other ways of getting quests, and I'm not sure. Apparently there might be one or two other people, but you won't find them out in the world. They're just at these specific locations. That are also, like, that you cannot nuke them, you cannot nuke near them, and stuff like that. So, for instance, the nowhere near the exit, or like the Vault 76 can you nuke, because that's just like, starter people will be fucked over if you could.
Yep. I can imagine that if they did not let that, slide. Yeah, it's like constant nukes being thrown there.
And there are intelligent ghouls still.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the ghouls. Yeah.
Yeah. So ghouls. There's even an entire new faction, they said, of like ghouls that aren't quite super feral yet, but they're basically going to replace raiders. They're like called the Scorched, I believe, is what they were called.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but they're like feral ghouls that still have some of their faculties about them, enough that they can use like a gun.
So it's like basically intelligent feral ghouls, essentially.
Yeah,
put it
exactly.
in layman's term. That's actually pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. Sorry to make this the Fallout podcast for about 5 seconds there.
Yeah, that's fine. We got plenty of games to talk about, so we're good.
Yeah.
I've just never played a Fallout, so I had nothing to add.
Yeah, that's fine.
But one game that I was not expecting, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but Little Dragon Cafe looks freaking adorable. It's coming from the Harvest Moon people.
Okay.
And it's literally just raise dragons and manage a cafe, and I'm so into it.
Oh, I love games
That
like
sounds
that.
great.
It looks a lot like the Zelda Wind Waker style. Probably the Harvest Moon style as well. I've never played Harvest Moon. But it's just so cute. And it has dragons, and I want it.
Nice.
And that's going to be for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. And that's coming out in August, actually.
Oh, wow.
Good.
There's a lot. I'm so excited with some of these things. Like, for instance, when they dropped like Unravel just out of nowhere, I was like, that's awesome. Like, Unravel isn't necessarily a big game that I'm a massive fan of, but it's a cool game with an interesting story, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's really cool to be doing that. And it's like, I feel like ever since Todd Howard announced Fallout 4, like, oh yeah, by the way, we have this other game that's out right now, and it's the other game that we announced today is going to be out in about 4 months. Like when
Mhm.
I think that was the first big time, as far as I know of, that a
Yeah.
game was announced within 6 months of the release date at E3,
Or at least a
and it was just
AAA
it was
title.
yeah, and it was just like it was a mic drop, and like
Yeah.
ever since that happened, it's been people trying to capture lightning in a bottle
Yeah,
again to get
just
that.
trying to one up it at all times.
Exactly.
Which I think is a good thing for a lot of games, especially like smaller games, remakes, things like that.
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of AAA games bank on the pre-order money though.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it could
yeah.
be detrimental for them to have too small of a gap, or especially if they release like it's out right now.
Hmm.
Like that's cutting out a lot of potential profit for them, and also doesn't give fans a chance to like budget for their games because a lot of people can't afford to drop $60
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
like 8 games over E3.
Yep.
So like give them a chance.
Hmm. Like I'm glad that I don't think there have been any AAA titles that have been just like, oh, by the way, it's out right now, unless it's like a free game or like a really cheap game. But like, for instance, I'm gonna go back to Fallout for like half a second here just to make that point.
Go for it.
With Fallout 76, with the Power Armor Edition,
Yeah.
they announced that, and I was like, that's really awesome. That is $255 that I don't have right now. So I can't get that, but I really want the helmet, and I'm just like, well, that's sad. And it's like they even called it like not just a limited edition, they called it the super limited edition, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not getting that, I guess. So I just didn't have any time to like budget out something like that. So trying to make that point again, but
Yeah, no, when I found out the price of that, I like really wanted to buy it because I have the money right now, but like I need to save up for a lot of
Yeah.
stuff right now, so I can't like
Yeah, it's
spend
fair.
spend like $200 on a game, even though that game is probably gonna be amazing. But it's just I can't spend that much on that.
Makes sense.
yep.
So,
So any other like big standouts for you guys? Maybe like for me, Shadow of the Tomb Raider looks really. Oh my god! I just love this darker tone that they're taking Tomb
Yeah,
Raider.
yeah, definitely looks up really awesome. All those, well, it's interesting to me because actually I bought actually just bought though because I haven't, cause I played the first one in the reboot series, but I haven't played the second one yet, which I did buy yesterday. So I'm eventually be playing through that, so then I can catch up for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. But I don't know when I'm eventually going to play that, but I'll play that at some point.
I just love this darker tone that they're taking,
Mhm.
and I also
Yeah.
love the face paint that she has on at one point.
Oh yeah,
Like that's just it's like, to me it just screams like Angel of Death type thing, and it's just like that's freaking badass.
yeah, especially because it's cool. Like just like one of the gameplay mechanics is to rub yourself in mud so that you can basically go against a wall of like a rock or whatever, so you could disguise yourself. It's like that was freaking awesome.
Another game I'm looking forward to is Overcooked 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, yes!
That's pretty good.
And this one looks like more and better of the same, which I'm
yeah.
still super into.
Me too. I am the same way, so I totally understand that. It's
Hmm.
gonna be really.
I
cool
love
to
that
see.
sort of like, not even like a life sim, but like organization, like planning, and like little orders pop up, and you gotta do everything for that, and you gotta do it with your friends, and you all just yell at each other.
Yeah, I love yelling at my friends like in games. That's my favorite thing. And so Overcooked was my favorite. Overcooked and like this isn't E3 anymore, but like Overcooked and Uno like used to be my two
Yeah.
favorite games to play with my friends because I could just yell as much as I want, and it was the best thing ever.
I feel like Overcooked is like the definition of too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Literally.
I love it so much. It's just it's so funny that way.
I'm especially excited for 2 because it's finally going to have online co-op
Mhm.
instead of just
yeah.
local, and I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
Pridecast Let's Play.
Yes, yes. It'll just be us screaming food ingredients to each other, but it'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be Switch, PC, Xbox, PS4.
Nice.
Okay, and something, it's not really a game, but like one of my favorite, like it's not, well, it's like on the top like 5 highlights of the Bethesda. It was the Skyrim Very Special Edition.
Oh my
Okay,
God,
okay, guys. If we can all just be quiet for a second, I have something to do. Hey, Echo, play Skyrim.
Welcome back to Skyrim, Adventurer. You scroll through your journal menu for a refresher on your quest. Ah, yes. You vowed to aid a Khajiit explorer by vanquishing the evil from an abandoned fort that killed her brother. You were about to decide where to go. There are 2 paths before you, a scarred iron door and a wooden staircase.
Okay, Echo, stop. Echo, stop.
God, yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking amazing.
It's real.
It's real, and
That's incredible.
I spent way too long playing it, and I'm not sure if I want to admit numbers here, mostly because I'm afraid of what that will do to my image. I played that game for over an hour.
So is it just like old video games where it's just it talks to you and you choose 1 or 2 or 3 things?
Like kind of
Yeah,
like
basically.
Yeah. Guys, I was gonna say because I know someone that did that too. It was like pretty much like he said it was like or she. I forget it was a he or she. I forget. I don't remember.
She.
Yeah, I'll go with she. That's the first thing I said, so I don't know. Anyways, so let's go. That person said that it was that it was basically like playing D&D. That's what they said. So.
Yeah, it's hilarious, and I just I definitely spent too much time on it. I got to the point where I get all 3 words of the unrelenting force shout, which takes a lot of leveling up. So yeah, that was a waste of my time, but it was a funny one. I was so happy that they announced that. It's great. Todd Howard apparently came up with that as a joke, and he was like, he was telling Pete Hines like, I think we could actually make this, and Pete Hines is like, why? He's like, because it's funny.
Why not?
People will get it.
It's like just cause we if we can do it, might as well.
Yeah, like no matter what it is, if it's Skyrim, people will buy it or get it.
I mean, and it's free, and it's
that's
true. It's like it was like no download time at all, so it's just like fuck it. But it was a joy to have that 100%.
So actually one thing I've been thinking about too is actually another game actually kind of like shocked me about how surprised I was because I wasn't, especially if I didn't hear this before I would have not been that shocked. But Dying Light 2.
Dying Light 2 looks great.
Yeah, that one especially that one I'm actually especially interested because I know it's being written by Chris Avellone, which I don't know if you guys know him. He done KOTOR 2. And it does a bunch of the Oblivion games, which is like he's really good at writing like when it comes to like choices and stuff like that, and actually having consequence. So it's like, yes, I need that. That's like, yes.
That sounds awesome. I love KOTOR 2. So I'm still KOTOR 1 as my favorite, but KOTOR 2 is still amazing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just like I'm particularly excited for that, just because like if anything is on my top, it's like it's very much like a surprise for me from the E3.
Oh, yeah.
So that was nice.
Bethesda knocked it out of the park this year.
Oh yeah, Bethesda did an awesome job. I'd say both Bethesda and Microsoft definitely did an awesome job.
But Microsoft really stepped up. I was not expecting a great presentation from them, but we got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've really delivered with some great stuff.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to think what else. I know there was some other. Oh yeah, like even though this is not game related, but just like definitely one of the most funny moments out of that. Also, that Bethesda conference was the the band playing out of nowhere.
Oh, Andrew WK, yeah.
Andrew WK, which is like he's probably a fine guy. He's probably a fine guy and all that, but it's like I don't know if that was exactly the right time and the right move to do to a concert.
And like, you know, gamers aren't the most active. Like they even talked
Yeah.
about this on the Rooster Teeth E3 presentation earlier today, I think, where they were talking about gamers aren't the most active. They don't like jump up and down to like music, especially if they don't necessarily like know the musician.
Yeah.
So it's like they had some stones to try to pull that, but it was interesting.
Yeah, it was especially even the better part was like, they had cameras pointing at the audience. It was like, especially since they weren't jumping around, just as confused faces. I was just dying the entire time.
They even showed a guy that put on headphones.
Yep. I saw-
Yup.
I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because especially it was funny because I was watching the for that one I was watching the Funhouse the Funhouse live stream of that, and they were just
Yeah.
they were ripping into. Well, I saw a bunch of them were ripping into it, but they especially that part they were just. I know Adam just killed himself laughing, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great. I love how cringe that was, but how funny it was after the fact. My personal favorite thing from the Bethesda thing was when they were talking about bringing Wolfenstein to more platforms. They just really doubled down on that on the message of Wolfenstein. They were like, so we're bringing Wolfenstein to Nintendo to the Nintendo Switch, so you can play Wolfenstein on the go, because we really just want you to kill Nazis everywhere, because that's our goal with Wolfenstein, is to bring the message of fuck you Nazis to every platform we can.
Yep.
And I was just like, that's funny as hell. Because like they got so much freaking splashback from some people about what was it, they sent out a tweet at one point that was like fuck Nazis. And everyone went so fucking ape on that. And
I
it's
feel
just
like that shouldn't be a controversial statement.
No,
it shouldn't.
It
And Wolfenstein has always been about killing Nazis.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not like it's new.
Yeah, it shouldn't be controversial, but in this day of world, the impossible happens all the time now. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that they did that. It's just like, I'm glad they really hit the nail home there.
Especially it was interesting even going. We're gonna just end up talking about Bethesda for most of the time, I feel like. But anyways,
Oh,
anyways,
I love Bethesda. Don't worry.
But anyways, one thing also thought was sort of like, not to say this is bad, but just a little confusing for me, was especially because with the whole there's Prey with the whole Typhon Hunter thing. I was thinking, I was thinking the whole thing is like, you're talking about, how this daily game of hide and seek, one person versus 5 mimics, and the disguise itself like, so prop hunt.
Yeah.
So you just pretty much took prop hunt, which is fine, but it's like, I think even Lawrence, I know, Lawrence from Funhouse mentioned, it's like, why wasn't this earlier? Like, you feel like this should have been like from the get-go, but whatever. It's like, it's fine. Like, it's probably gonna be good. But
Yeah. I saw people criticizing it, like they were stealing the game type, and I'm like, that's not. It's kind of been imported into a lot of things at this point. And then one person that I saw that was criticizing it was criticizing PUBG for going after Fortnite and stuff like that. I'm like, for going after Fortnite in that big controversial suing thing that they're doing, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so you don't want them to take mechanics from this one person when it's kind of like, that's just a game mode that people play at this point. But but you're getting mad at the person that's like defending something that they kind of made their own, at least somewhat. And it felt really hypocritical. And I'm just like, just pick one. I don't care which one you pick one.
Yeah. Yeah, and plus, if I recall correctly, like for how PUBG exactly was made, like Epic Games for the Fortnite people, they've used the pretty much a similar. If I recall, I could be totally wrong on this, but I believe they have like some sort of connection where it's like they made it on the same engine or something like that. It's like
Oh, I can
something really
explain.
weird. Like, oh, okay, you might know.
I can explain the entire thing because I've been really staying in tune to that because I'm a big PUBG player.
Yeah.
So what happened exactly was, Bluehole was working with Epic Games about using the Unreal Engine. And they were using it, and they were specifically going through and tailoring the engine so that it could handle like these hundreds of players, right? Or these hundred, like, yeah. So what happened was that then Epic Games with Unreal took the. Basically, it's controversial. It's not quite clear if they basically used insider knowledge of how the engine worked and how then Bluehole had used it because they worked with them on it to then make this other game, which basically Fortnite had already had its own engine, but they basically just layered PUBG's engine on top of the Fortnite gameplay. So it just kind of like people are like, oh, but it's like unique and special, but it's not really that unique and special, like because it was basically just them taking the corpse of this previous game and refitting it to become this new thing. I hope that made sense, but it's they basically use their insider knowledge as far as I can tell to like make it work, and then they also cited PUBG in like some of their like commercials and stuff like that. This is where we got our inspiration from. And like they also took the idea of like people dropping from the air with this line thing because PUBG, like people are saying like, oh, the PUBG is just the same as like, what is it? I think it's King of the Kill, I believe is one of them. And a couple other battle royale-esque games, like I believe even like DayZ had stuff like that. But none of them had this idea where you're on a plane and you drop out and you go to other parts of the map. None of them had that until PUBG. But then immediately after the fact, Fortnite comes out and it has almost the exact same thing. And I'm like, okay, that's definitely inspired by, like, they basically just took that part from PUBG. Because before that, it had been like Hunger Games style, where it was like everybody spawned in a ring and you just ran away and like got stuff. So that was kind of that game mode, that battle royale mode before that. But then they just did kind of take a lot of stuff from PUBG.
Yeah, well, it's especially interesting too, because actually I think the H1Z1 now, like, because I know I played it a little bit on the PS4. It's like they took that exact thing. They took, because I believe it. I don't even know if it was in there before. I'm not 100%, but I know they have that now where you jump out of the plane and all that now. So
I'm not sure if it was in there before either,
Yeah,
and if it was, that'd be me wrong but as far as I know, PUBG was the first one to have that.
Yeah. Trying to think what else.
Yeah.
I know there's some other stuff.
We could talk about LGBT representation in The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
never
I
played
was
the
gonna
first
say
one,
about
and now I
Last of Us,
really
yeah.
want to, just because of that.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing. I love it so
Yes.
much. I was in love with Ellie before just because of that character. That character is so great. But with this, like, on top of that, it's just like it's not like that makes her character better, but it's a really interesting new facet that I'm glad helps us also get, like, the LGBT get more representation, and just overall, it makes me super happy.
Yeah, and and also even another thing too is like it was, especially with people obviously complain about saying it's forced and all that blah blah blah, all that bullshit. Anyways, but even one thing is like it's been hinted at for a bit of a while, especially in that one Last of Us DLC, where it was fairly hinted that she had a crush on the I forget her name, but the one girl she was hanging out with. It was fairly hinted at.
Yeah.
Like, actually not even hinted. It was pretty much like banging over your head, but still not banging over your head. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like, so it's been there for a bit of a while, but still, it's like it's still great to see. Obviously, still awesome to see. But yeah. Yeah, not even just.
Oh, sorry. You go.
No. I was gonna say even not even just Last of Us. Also with even with the new AC is also gonna have also having LGBT relationships with that one too, because I know.
Yeah, they BioWared it.
Yeah.
As I like to say.
They just BioWared it. It's like sure, want to date a woman, go for it. Want to date a guy, go for it.
Yeah, I like that.
You want to date the Minotaur? Go for it.
Date everyone.
That'd be interesting.
That is kind of my approach in those games, though. Is like, how far can I take it with everyone at once?
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's my favorite thing about that trailer though had to be how brutal Ellie was.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was so cool to see that, like that progression of that character, to see like it just felt like we were seeing a new, like, her grown up a bit more.
Yeah. Because I think she's like, I don't know how many years it takes place after the first one, but yeah, she's sort of like somewhere in her teens, so it's definitely interesting. That'd be very pretty cool. So,
any other games that people are super excited about? Any like games that you feel like haven't been necessarily like
There were a
talked
couple
about
little
a
like
whole bunch?
indie things that weren't like weren't super featured or were just small. Where was the one I was looking at? I don't remember what it was called. Sable. That was it.
Oh,
that
Sable! The art style of Sable looks great. They said it was kind of inspired by Ghibli, but I don't quite see it. But still, it's
Have you seen
beautiful
Nausicaa?
game.
It looks very Nausicaa-like to me.
I guess I could see Nausicaa for that. I'm
more
just,
in the
I guess when I
setting
think
than the art style, but
yeah, first because I feel like they said the setting for sure felt Ghibli, but like the art style to me, it was like I feel like if I remember correctly, they said the art style was kind of Ghibli based, but I'm like, I don't quite see it. But it's just such a unique art style that I'm in love with.
Yeah, I just think it's really pretty, and I don't really know what it's gonna be, but we don't really know what it's gonna be at all. But it's just really pretty, and the music was nice.
Yeah, but it really was. It was great.
Another indie game.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
Sorry.
No,
Another
you go
game
ahead. Sorry.
I'm excited about is like Oi and the Will of the Wisps.
Oh, yeah.
Or however you say that.
Yeah.
Like, I loved Oi and the Blind Forest. Like, I don't know how many hours I have on it, but it's a lot. So just seeing that it's gonna be out, seeing the trailer, that made me really happy and think it's gonna be such a beautiful game.
It's like that Ori and the Blind Forest is just so stunning. And if you saw, I believe, the interview with, like the Rooster Teeth interview that they did with one of the creators, like they were saying like, oh, if you thought the first game was like emotionally like that, like there was a lot of emotion in that, then you're in for a hard time.
Oh God.
Because I'm like, I think everybody cries in the first 10 minutes of that game. Like that's just you buy that game to cry.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful game, and it's so full of feels. And if the second game is just gonna be that times 100, oh no, how will I make it through?
Yeah, I have a very strong feeling that I have a very strong feeling that the girl that she was dancing with, she is so dead. She is gonna die. It's gonna be really sad.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting.
The little owl is just so cute.
Oh wait! I don't know why. I was thinking Last of Us for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh.
Whoops.
Well.
Oh well. But still, it doesn't matter. We're on the Ori. I forgot.
Yeah. Sea of Solitude. Did you guys see the trailer for Sea of Solitude?
I did not actually. No.
No.
It's an indie game and it looks hella creepy and I am all about it. It's just, I can't quite place what the story is at all about it, but you basically it looks kind of like a post-apocalyptic world where you're on this boat going through these flooded streets sometimes, and it just looks so freaky and like so potentially like psychological horror. and it looks really interesting. So I would really recommend people checking that out. It looks really cool.
Oh, this does look cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually right now I'm looking through a bunch of like a list of games that are E3.
I'm looking at some right now.
Like,
Super Smash Brothers as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Super Smash looks good. It honestly makes me really tempted to get a Switch, but I am poor I'm poor as fuck right now,
Yeah.
so it's like I don't know if I can afford that, but I would definitely buy a Switch just for Smash. So.
You know, I was planning on just buying a Switch just for Animal Crossing if it got announced, which it didn't, and I'm like, still,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll probably buy a Switch for the new Mario Party game, because that's another game I love.
That looks good too, yeah.
I just love anything like Nintendo as well. Like, I grew up with Nintendo, and I will always love Nintendo.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Nintendo's just I agree. It's just it's love for what they've done and what they've done for like that gaming world, and it's just Nintendo is great. Did you guys see the Sony presser with the Ghost of Tsushima?
Oh yes, yeah, that game looks really good.
It looks stunning. Like there's in the gameplay that they show of it, I believe it's gameplay at the end of the thing. I hope that the game looks like it does in that, and it's not like watchdogging it, where it's not nearly as beautiful as what they show. Yeah. But that game looks so stunning, and also I love this new trend of people going and putting settings in like feudal Japan, because like I think that's a really underappreciated setting for a lot of things. Like I feel like we get them as like side things a lot, like in like Chivalry I believe there's like characters that are like from feudal Japan, but like and I guess also in what is it, the Ubisoft game For Honor, that's what it was. They also have some like samurai and stuff like that, but I feel like this is just such a genuine representation of that time, because they're talking about one of the invasions of Japan from the Mongols, and that's just, it's such an interesting time period to show, and I'm glad that they are telling it.
Yeah.
Well, also one thing that's actually interesting. I was speaking with the Sony conference. One thing that's actually interesting, but that they also revealed was again the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah.
That's gonna be kind of like I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan, but seems pretty interesting. Seems pretty cool, especially with like again it's like because especially seeing like obviously graphics comparisons. Like dear God, yeah, but they pretty much just made a new game essentially for it. It's pretty awesome.
The trailer for that was like really trippy to me. It was like, whoo. I guess you're a rat the entire time until you see the head of the rat come off, and it's like, what the hell? Yeah. Very interesting trailer.
And I love playing Just Cause 3. Like, that's another game I have like hundreds of hours in.
Yeah. The Just Cause games are always fun. They're just mindless, awesome fun.
Yeah, like,
definitely.
I cannot wait. I need to save up so much money for the trips I'm making this year, plus video games. Like, how am I supposed to not be broke after this year?
Yeah.
God.
This year and next year are gonna be great years for games.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I feel like of course this is assuming they all come out on the release dates that they were announced for.
That's a big assumption, but
yeah, so that's exactly. So that's why I'm also just like tempering expectations because of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, we might get some things pushed back, even some really big things. Unfortunately.
I mean, did you see how many times they pushed back Kingdom Hearts?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I think Kingdom Hearts, if they don't end up releasing it now, like with in that release, like they're just gonna have a bunch of angry fans on their hands.
Yeah. I think they said it was like I know it's somewhere in 2019 now.
I think they just said 2019. I'm pretty.
Yeah,
or no, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Let me double check.
I'm looking that up now.
Wait, didn't like Fallout 4 when it was announced? Didn't it have like multiple release dates until like it
No,
actually came
No,
out?
no, I know it only had the one.
It
time.
looks like
It only had the one and it came out.
Okay.
one time.
the
Like,
release
you could-
date currently for Kingdom Hearts 3 is January 25th, 2019.
Well,
That's-
actually,
So
Yeah.
so they got like 7 months.
Actually, according to the article, I have an article on IGN. It's which you're very close though. You're actually pretty close. Well, it says January 20. You're 25th, but you're correct on that one. But it says in Japan apparently.
Okay, that's
Yeah, but yeah, which you're close. But it
So they
says
probably
January
just don't
29th.
have a U.S. release.
Well, they
date
have.
then.
Well, they have January 29th for the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what. But
That was just
That's,
the
that's
first thing that
about right.
popped
It's
up on Google.
about a week delay generally.
Yeah.
which is
Couple
fine.
days.
Still good.
But yeah. I'm trying to think of any other big things here.
Hitman 2. Hitman 2.
Hitman 2 looks pretty cool.
Yeah, especially with
I'm
achievement with that
interested.
one.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be funny. Especially like I love the fish.
Oh, yeah.
How they just kill someone with a fish. That's so good.
Mhm.
Oh god, Death Stranding. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Death Stranding. We finally
Oh.
got sort of ish gameplay.
I still,
of them
I,
walking
we
and
still
climbing.
have, we still have no. We have like ideas of what's going on, but nothing enough to like get any semblance of a story.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Basically, the way I feel about it's like it looks cool. I don't know what the hell it is, but it looks cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anthem. Is anybody here excited for that?
I mean, it looks cool. I don't know if I'd like playing it, but it looks
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, It looks
'Cause,
cool. and
again,
I'll
I'm
probably
not really
play
a
it.
shooter person.
Yeah,
But
it
looks
looks
pretty.
cool. Yeah, for sure. It looks cool, but like being a massive Mass Effect fan, like I just hope if this goes well that this doesn't mean they're just gonna shut out Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like unlike most people, I really liked Mass Effect Andromeda. I was
See,
that's-
I'm a Dragon Age person. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Dragon Age. to
Dragon Age is
pieces.
good. I understand that. I'm just I love sci-fi a little bit more than I do fantasy, even though I'm a massive Dungeons and Dragons nerd.
Yeah, and also one thing that's actually interesting because I know because one thing that was actually kind of a little weird that they announced had the Square Enix one was the Quiet Man, whatever the hell
That
is.
looks interesting. That game just looks. I don't know what to take away from that, but it looks
Yeah.
really. I like the tone that we got from it for sure.
Yeah, or especially because I think I even watched the Rooster Teeth one. It's like the Quiet Man, or as John Reisner calls it, the Hush Hush Boy.
That was a good one.
Yeah, so that was gonna be interesting. Although not gonna lie, the Square Enix one just in general,
That was
it
such
was
a meh
very
conference.
disappointing.
It
At
was
least for me.
such a meh conference, and I don't. I love Square Enix, man, but like, maybe they should have just like they announced almost every single thing that they had at other conferences.
Yeah, the only thing they really had on their own that was interesting was Tomb Raider.
Yeah, they had a little bit more on that. They had one thing that I was very surprised about is that they had nothing new for Kingdom Hearts at their thing.
Yeah.
It was the same trailer, and then later that night at the Sony thing, they had a new trailer.
Yep.
And I'm like, you should have kept that for your own freaking conference. You guys are dumbasses.
I'm sure there's probably some sort of
I'm
business
sure.
deal there.
Oh,
where-
100%.
Yeah, they probably
I
have
just
some,
like,
probably Sony with them had some exclusivity or whatever.
yeah, I just question what happened there a little bit. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it is strange that they wouldn't save something big for them, as they're the developers. But
I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure there was a good reason. At least we got to see more from it.
oh yeah, for sure.
Well, also one thing that was at the Bethesda one was the new Wolfenstein game.
Oh yeah, the
Speaking
twin sisters,
the
right?
Blood one, yeah, which is gonna be co-op, which is gonna be pretty cool.
That does look
I
very
can
interesting.
see that being a play pals. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get them to do a full playthrough of the Wolfenstein because I don't think they didn't do a full playthrough for the new Colossus, did they?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I remember
No.
they did a Let's Watch of like the beginning of it, and they were talking about like the how they like basically you could cleave through people's legs at some points, and it's
Yeah,
just
it was-
they
yeah,
talked about that a lot, but
that being literally the first kill that you do with the knife or the axe, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was, another
I don't
game.
know.
I was looking through the list again, and also another game, little smaller game is the new Trials.
oh yeah, that looks
Oh, I
that
have
was
a
such
friend
an
who-
that was such a funny intro for that game.
Yeah, with the Jack Patillo clone.
I have a friend who is just head over heels for Trials, and he was so excited to see that.
It was really cool. For
They
sure.
haven't had anything new for a while. So.
They've had the app. They had Trials Blood Dragon, right? It was kind of like
that was
a
like a while ago.
that was 2016.
Really? Only
Uh,
2016?
And then Fusion, I believe, was 2014.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been doing my research, trying to keep up on everything here. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I was very happy to see that.
Yeah, and also, because I'm also seeing Starfield in here, so that was like another big
yeah.
shock was Starfield. They obviously announced that, yep, that's a thing, we're doing that.
But
And
they
then
didn't really
right
show
after that-
anything for it.
No, they didn't show anything for it, but it's kind of cool about it.
Yeah.
And then right after that, they didn't show anything about this one new, but again, next Elder Scrolls too. Elder Scrolls 6, they announced like, yeah, we're doing it.
Where
That's how
is
we're not doing
it
it
set? That's what I want to know. Which country in Tamriel is it set in? That's what I just.
I think I was watching another thing on it too. Like someone mentioned like maybe elsewhere.
I'm thinking elsewhere too, because like that would be really cool, and that's the home of the Khajiit, I believe.
Yeah, that's the cat
Um,
people.
So I was really happy that might be a possibility, and that's kind of I had actually I think somewhere else, I believe it might have been a tweet, I guessed that it was elsewhere, or it was going to be elsewhere, and when we did finally see it, so I'm happy that I might be right on that front. But very, very cool stuff that they pulled out there.
Yeah.
I think it was very interesting that they pulled out 2 30-second teasers that showed nothing of the gameplay. I was just like,
Well,
I understand 1, 2. I was like, okay, now you're just trolling.
Yeah, you also feel like if they could have just revealed Starfield, and that would have been just fine. That would have been good. But they did maybe went a little overboard by going into Elder
Because-
Scrolls. I'm still excited they announced it, but
I'm excited they announced it, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I probably won't be seeing that game in 10 years.
yeah, that ain't happening for a while.
Because they even Bethesda recently released a documentary, which is like it's like a 40-minute documentary. They talk a lot about Fallout 76. They talk a little bit about Elder Scrolls and a little bit about Starfield, and they're talking about almost all of their companies currently are working on Starfield, or not Starfield. I believe they have one in New England. They have a studio in New England that is working on Starfield right now. And the other 2, I believe they have one in Toronto and they have one in Austin. I know they have one in Austin because everyone works there.
I believe it's. I think it's Montreal. Let me double check.
Montreal. It's probably Montreal.
Yeah.
But then they have Montreal and Austin, and I know. So both of those are working on 76. When 76 comes out, then Montreal is going to switch to also working on Starfield. Then once Starfield comes out, Montreal is going to stick on on that, and then Elder Scrolls is going to get more work from the one in New England, from what I believe. So they don't even have they probably don't actually have much other than concept art done at this point for Elder Scrolls. So we shouldn't expect that in the next I could maybe see 5 years maybe. I don't think it's gonna be in the next it's probably not gonna be in the next 3 years for sure. We shouldn't expect it at any point there. Starfield might come out in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
but
I'm definitely expecting for that one for sure.
But Starfield probably will get a little bit more about it next E3. And then it'll probably be close to coming out the E3 after, is my guess.
Yeah, and all
That makes sense.
and I've mentioned this before. Like, all I want for Starfield is just like I just want to be able to play multiple alien species, and fly in a spaceship. That's all I want. That's all I ask.
That's gonna be really
Other
cool.
than that,
I hope so.
if those two things are achieved, I'm good. You sold me. Just want to play a green alien and on a spaceship and fly around to different planets. That's what I want.
I'm just glad that the Elder Scrolls 6, like, the idea is confirmed. Like,
Yeah.
I've been
Like,
waiting
it's a
for
thing
it
that's
since
coming.
It's not Half-Life 3.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not
There'll
a
be
joke.
rumors about it for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean,
We know
Valve
it is
isn't
out
really
there.
making games anymore. At least not that I know of. Like, so.
They announced that they are gonna start working on more, and they've announced that they are working on 3, or it's either 2 or 3 full, like, $60 price point games.
Oh.
One of which they've said is a new IP, I believe, and one of which they've said is from an IP that we know.
Okay.
So that has me inclined to believe probably not. It's probably not. It's probably not Half-Life, but it's probably either like something like a Team Fortress 3, or like a Portal 3, or something like that.
I can imagine a Portal 3. Although
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about Team Fortress, just because like they're making so much money with the hats. So
Yeah,
like, I don't know if
that
they want to. I don't know if they want to do that, but I could see them doing it. But I don't know if I imagine. But Portal 3, I can imagine them 100% doing it. Portal 3.
Probably also not a Dota 3.
No, yeah, not a Dota 3. But anyway,
also, like, they also said that one of their games is going to be like full VR. Like, you're gonna have the capability of doing full VR. Which that's also really cool.
I need, or I want.
Hey, if you guys ever want to come down to Chicago, I've got a Vive.
Nice. Bring it to RTX.
That would be expensive.
Yeah, that would take up a
Shit,
lot
you
of space because you also have to bring your computer, I'm pretty sure.
Alright.
Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, my laptop is good enough to do.
Really? Oh,
I have a gaming
I
laptop.
was about to say, like, do you need to bring in your whole laptop? It's like, sir, do you have any carry-ons? Like, no, yeah, I got this. Just
I
dragging
had a
around
whole
your
computer
desktop.
tower.
Dragging it down your desktop.
Hey, my
mind me.
desktop can definitely do it. My laptop is also rated strong enough for VR.
Okay, alright.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to
Alright,
have a
Well,
Switch
we are
by
approaching an
next time.
hour. Is there anything anyone else wanted to bring up
I
last minute?
I wanted to bring up, just because it's a personal favorite of mine, Double Fine, the studio, has announced, well, not necessarily announced, but they have a bunch of new games also coming out hopefully in the next year, that are really cool, and I would just encourage everybody to go look at the trailers for those, because they haven't gotten, I think, basically any like publicity, except for I think they came on for a little bit on the Rooster Teeth show, but they make fantastic artistic games.
What do they have coming out?
I believe one of them is called I believe it's called Kids. Let me confirm this, but it's kind of a silly looking game where you have like these these black and white figures that are doing stupid things to each other. I believe they also have more Grim Fandango stuff coming out.
Yeah, it looks like Grim Fandango Remastered is coming to Switch.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's another game I love.
They've got
They're coming out with games.
they have another game that they're working on that I'm just trying to find real quick.
It looks like Knights and Bikes, Kids.
Knights and Bikes, that's what it
Ganges.
was. Knights and Bikes is really interesting, really cool. It's similar in art style to if anybody has played Broken Age. It's kind of similar in art style to that.
Oh, okay.
Broken Age looks really pretty.
Broken Age is one of my favorite games of all time, because it is such a well-made game. Also, if you are interested in game development, go watch the Double Fine Adventure, which is a documentary that's like, I believe, like almost like 20 hours probably of a documentary, which talks about the development of Broken Age. It is one of the coolest and actually most realistic game development documentaries that you'll ever see, because they talk about the issues, they talk about things from the in perspective of the developer. So people that maybe aren't so forgiving to developers, I would recommend you go watch it, because then you'll understand a little bit more what it's like for developers to go through stuff.
I can go on in like another hour, just like with how much I love Double Fine games.
Double Fine games are my favorite games of all time. Like,
Yeah.
they are fantastic games, and I think Tim Schafer is amazing. I love Tim Schafer's stuff. He's a visionary, but at the same time he's very human, and he definitely makes mistakes and stuff. So it's very much he's very much someone very cool.
Like,
And I would
yeah, I don't want to go into it, but like my favorite Double Fine game is like Brutal Legend.
Brutal
Not
Legend
only
is
because
great.
of Jack Black, who's like one of my favorite actors of all time, just because like of what the game is all about, and it's one of my favorites. But I can go on like at least an hour about that game.
I could go on forever about Broken Age, so I get you. So yeah, is there anything else anybody wants to talk about? I don't want to. Yeah.
No, I think I pretty much covered everything I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think we covered the entirety of E3 in 1 hour.
Nice.
Oh yeah, there's definitely no more to look into anything that.
Nothing more. We
Uh,
said
Definitely
everything.
got everything.
There are no racing games or sports games that we didn't gloss over because we aren't those types of gamers.
Yeah, but one thing I do want to mention quickly about that, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I killed myself laughing when they did that for Forza. There was like a display whatever for the for you playing over people. So it's one of the things was wanna drift. It's like I died. I like died laughed like for like an I don't know. It was just oh god. I was just like stop. But yeah, other than that, yeah.
So yeah,
Alright.
I think that's everything. Thank you guys all so much for joining me today.
No problem.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and if people want to go follow you on like Twitter or something, what are you guys' handles?
I am at Gen Lantto, GenLantto.
I am at I am Kurla 103. IAM KURLA 103.
I am on Twitter. I am at Oreo Ninja 017, OREO NINGA, and then number 017.
And just for everybody's future clarifications, mine is the Quest Crafter. You can basically find me on about any platform probably as the Quest Crafter, including like Steam or whatever.
And I'll include links to everyone in the description of this video.
Okay.
Yeah, and thank you so much for Jen for your amazing audio editing skills and your time that you've put in for editing the podcast and Pridecast and stuff like that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.
And thank the viewers, all of you out there, so much for watching. And we hope you guys have a great week. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.